they are very confident that good will triumph over evil.
That is, I feel like the way most things go, you know?
The confidence, or that we actually defeat evil all the time?
I feel like good usually triumphs over evil. It maybe not in like, grand gestures that we're familiar with, but most of the time, bad things always come to light. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like stuff can't stay in the darkness forever. Light is always exposed on it at some point. And it may take time. It may not be traditional ways that we expect or hope things to pan out. But if you look at the overall like long timeline of things, and you look at bad events, and you look at what from that bad event caused something good to happen down the line, it's usually a triumph. Like it maybe not, again, as thematic as we'd like it to be, but I think so.
I think most stories will show that the light always triumphs over the dark.
Yeah.
Especially because, Tolkien was a devout Catholic, and there is a lot of religion within this story.
Sure.
Especially if you go back to the beginning of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. I think it's fascinating that a Catholic would put like someone like Gandalf in there.
Yeah.
Who is obviously not a Catholic or not a Christian. If you really look at him, he's that old school.
He's a wise sage, yes.
Yeah, from that probably Tolkien found writing or in writings in the libraries of Oxford, talking about some of the old heroes of the English Isles.
Classic.
Yeah. So, and the guy, J. Widener and J.R.R.
You could probably just say Widener and Dyer. They're both named J.
Yeah. Widener and Dyer.
There you go.
Good point.
Yeah.
Seem to be looking at this through a religious lens, kind of like, which you kind of need to with Tolkien. I mean, you don't have to be religious to enjoy the story. It's good versus evil, but Tolkien was into his religion, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It'd be weird to skip over that if that was the case. Be like, whatever about that part. Yeah.
I do like that he could put somebody like Gandalf in there without like making him evil, like a lot of devout people of those years would have done with that kind of character.
Sure. But he did include evil wizards as well with, Saruman and stuff like that. So I don't know, I mean,
Well, I think it's a good way of saying that something, and even somebody as powerful as Gandalf or Saruman could be turned to the dark side like Vader.
I mean, just look at Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Right. Everybody's sexiest man in Middle Earth, Aragorn.
I thought you were going to say Frodo.
No.
Those feet, man.
Yeah,
they do it.
I don't do feet, man.
They do it.
It is he that must lead men into their age. This is because of his bloodline. They point out that because of this, he is the chosen one to lead, which is kind of creepy to us now, since we understand what those supposedly pure bloodlines have done in their leadership of humanity.
Nice.
Yeah. They also compare Galadriel to the Madonna whore in her darkness, yet also like a Mary figure if she does not embrace her dark feminine side, which I kind of felt was reaching a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they did say something negative about a heroine in a story. Christian, you got to jump on that. You're not yourself if you don't point that out.
It just bothers me that that's kind of, I just felt like that was a little bit of a older way of looking at something like that. I'm like, why do you even need to go that deep into it? Just because she knew, like that one scene where when Frodo wants to give her the ring and she kind of gets really dark.
Wow, Galadriel, you got pretty dark there for a moment. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I haven't eaten anything this morning.
Gollum is, of course, compared to the Kabbalistic creature of a similar name, which I think we've talked about on the show before. Gollum.
What's similar to Gollum?
Gollum, the Jewish Gollum.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not.
Well, you said the same word twice.
Yeah,
but it is similar. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one, but maybe.
Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar, golems are just like, it's like a thought craft, right?
Yeah,
like pretty much you create this being with your mind.
Well, with magic
and your mind, though. Yeah. It's made out of clay or something like that, right?
Something like that.
I might be mixing up my lore here. It's
no. I think you're right there. It's okay. And then it like falls apart later or something.
Yeah. We'll do an episode on them in the future. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. They mentioned how Gollum doesn't have a personality. One of them saying that there is nothing there. I always felt that the trauma Gollum went through made his personality split. This gives us an early version of something we now call dissociative identity disorder. Tolkien might have experienced this amongst his friends in World War I.
Yeah. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, now would be a good time to go and do that. We actually did a video over the summer, I believe, as a bonus story, where we kind of discussed back and forth on, dissociative identity disorder versus possession. And I feel like that was it's kind of like a topic you have to tiptoe in, because if you take the wrong side on that, then people are usually on you as being some kind of religious zealot or, being stupid and not believe in science. But I think personally there's an argument to be had there. And that's a good video. So if you want to check it out, it's pretty short, 4 or 5 minutes, I believe, but it's over on the Freaky Deaky YouTube channel. Go like it, go subscribe it, go tell your friends, and let's get back into the episode.
Okay. Now we're going to get into the two towers. When I say two towers, does it bring up any imagery?
Yeah. Two towers.
I mean, we mentioned it earlier.
Specifically,
yeah.
One tower, and then right to the left or right of it, depending on what side you're standing on, an identical tower. Now, what could that be? What could that be? Well, if it's anything else like Washington, D.C., it's all phallic in nature anyway. So
probably.
Yeah.
That's what a tower is. The first movie came out in December of 2001.
A Space Odyssey. Oh, wait. No.
Yeah, close. A movie we in America needed at the time. A distraction. We all know what happened in 2001, right? I don't need to spell that out. 9/11?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also me in 6th grade. So.
Really?
Yeah. It's a great time.
I was not in 6th grade.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
A year later, the second movie was released. And since it was called The Two Towers, it was easy to see where our minds would go at the time. And that's also where Dyer and Widener went.
Diarrhea, what now?
Dyer and Widener. What? What the hell?
Okay.
Did I say it wrong?
No, it just, you said it very quickly. So it was like, this is where diarrhea went under.
Oh, okay.
Diarrhea, who now?
Yeah. Diarrhea.
Oh, God, yeah, we're not going to have diarrhea in this episode, Christian.
Please,
Cut
no.
that out.
Please. Yeah. They mentioned that Tolkien could not have seen the attacks on New York's two towers.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But he could see it intuitively. They talk about numerology, and as they mentioned, that 9 is the number of initiation, and particularly dark initiation. They don't mention the 11 part.
Okay.
Which is like...
Well, what is 1 outside of being the loneliest number?
I went and checked. I found that 1 can be a representation of power, independence, and new beginnings.
Oh, that's interesting that you had that. I actually asked the question before I read ahead. I'm like, wow, Christian, that was really fast of you to go and check.
I came prepared.
There is a first for everything.
Yeah. So in the show's view, this attack was some kind of initiation, which is something that has resonated with a good amount of people in the world.
Numerology is always fascinating to me.
I love numerology, even if whether it's true or not, it is fascinating.
There's some people out there, like numerologists, for instance, obviously, people that study this stuff day in and day out. They have some very compelling, facts to back up how these things work. I remember it was probably a couple years ago now at this point, but I listened to a podcast that had a numerologist on it. It might have been Tinfoil Hat, but yeah, he was going on and on about like different numbers, and he was talking from like even a point of like sales and stuff like that. He was like, if you want to make sales and your price tag, I think it was or your price point with either like an 8 or a 6 or one of those numbers. And he was like, and it's just, you make more money that way because this is the number of money and this does this. And I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, it'd be interesting to try some of that stuff out. Even like, but what is it? Is it on the scale of, witchcraft, or is it just on the scale of like energy and knowledge and stuff like that,
I think that's like the way you said that, is it witchcraft or energy? I think it's turned into like witchcraft through the history of the church.
Of course. Yeah.
Like back when everything that wasn't directly what the church said was evil, where they were basically killing whole groups of people because they didn't quite worship the way they wanted them to.
Yeah.
And I think that's where but numerology has been around since Mesopotamia, from my understanding.
Yeah, it's been around for a while now.
And like I kind of say words are magic sometimes on the show.
You say a lot of stuff is magic.
Yeah. But so numbers would seem even
more magic-ier.
Yeah. To have more power to say it properly. But
yeah,
because of all the stuff we can do in this world with numbers,
Sure.
My favorite numerologist is somebody named Glynis McCants, who used to be on Coast to Coast AM a lot.
Oh, nice.
And I like her a little bit because she doesn't get as dark, but she does advise people on like starting their businesses on certain days.